Hello, and thank you for watching this tutorial on how to use OnDemand and TaxTally together to file your fuel taxes. This is a simple process that starts with gathering your trip data in OnDemand into a single file. Then the data is sent to TaxTally, where you'll add fuel purchases to your trips and finally run your IFTA report. In OnDemand, open the trip browser by clicking the Dispatch menu on the left and then clicking Trip Browser. Here we can view the trips that are ready to be exported to TaxTally by setting the trip status dropdown to Ready to Export and the date range to All Trips, and then clicking the Search by Filters button. This allows you to see all of these trips at a glance and make any necessary changes before exporting. When you're ready to export, click the TaxTally Export Tool button. Here we can enter the appropriate filters to include only the trips we want to work with. In the Trip dropdown, choose Trip Completed Date, and then set a date range that includes all of the trips you'd like to export. It's recommended that you do this on at least a monthly basis, and that at the end of the reporting quarter you make sure that all of the quarter's miles have been sent to TaxTally before you run your IFTA report. After the filter options have been set, click Search Trips, and all of the resulting trips will be displayed in the grid. Review the list to be sure it looks correct, and when you're ready, click Generate Data to Export. This will format the trip data for TaxTally and display it at the bottom of the page. Finally, click Export Data File, and the file is downloaded in your browser. It's recommended that you save the file to your desktop or another easy-to-find location and name it appropriately. Note that you'll always be able to view your past exports within OnDemand by going to the Export History tab in the TaxTally Export tool. Set any filter options you wish. Click Search Batch, and here you can download any of the data files that have been previously exported. Now that we've created the trip data file, we can import it into TaxTally. When you double-click your Prophesy icon, you should be brought directly into TaxTally. However, if instead you see a login window, this means that the link between OnDemand and TaxTally still needs to be set up. Note that this process only needs to be done one time. To set up the link, first right-click on the Prophesy icon on your desktop and choose Open File Location. Find the shortcut named Prophesy Data Directory and double-click it. Then double-click the TaxTally folder. Right-click anywhere in the blank space, click New, and then click Text Document. Type Stratus and press Enter. Now you can close the window and double-click your Prophesy icon to open TaxTally. In the TaxTally menu, click Utility, Import Transactions from Prophesy OnDemand. Click the Browse button, and if necessary, locate the folder where the exported trip data file is stored. You should now see a list of all valid data files found in that folder. Click on the file to select it, and then click Process. You'll receive confirmation when the processing is complete. When you're done importing files, you can close the import window. Now your mileage data has been successfully imported into TaxTally, but before we can run an IFTA report, we'll need to enter any fuel purchases for the quarter. Click the Trip Manager button on the toolbar to open the Trip Manager screen, where you'll see a list of your tractors. Each tractor can be expanded using the plus sign to show that tractor's trips. Trips can be expanded to see trip legs, each of which represents a single state that was traveled through, including the distance traveled and the fuel purchased in that state. Set the filter options on the right if you'd like to show only trips within a certain date range, and whether to include inactive units or only specific unit IDs. For example, let's set the date filter to show only trips in the previous quarter. Make sure the trip date range box is checked, enter the date range, and click Refresh. Under this unit, we'll now see a list of trips it took during the previous quarter. To enter fuel on one of these trips, double-click it and the fuel tax transaction screen will open. Here you'll see info on the overall trip at the top and a list of trip legs in the grid below. Find the row containing the state where the fuel was purchased and enter the total number of gallons or liters in the provided field on that row. Repeat this process for any other fuel purchases on this trip and click Save to save the changes. Now you can close the Transactions window to return to the Trip Manager and add fuel purchases for the next trip. Repeat this for all fuel purchases made throughout the quarter for each of your vehicles. Note that for the purposes of IFTA reporting, it is possible to add together all of a vehicle's fuel purchases in each state during the quarter and enter the total into a single leg for each state. However, it's highly recommended that you enter the fuel as it was actually purchased. This will not only give you more accurate data on your reports, but may be crucial information to have on hand in case of an audit. Now that all of the necessary data has been entered, we can run the IFTA report. First, click the Preferences button on the toolbar and verify that your company info is correct. Note that the state or province entered here determines which IFTA report template is used. Now click the IFTA button on the toolbar to open the Report Options screen. Here we'll specify a date range and any other necessary filters. For IFTA reporting, we'll typically choose Previous Quarter and leave all of the other options set to All. Click Run to open the Credit and Penalty Amounts screen. This screen contains many options that may or may not apply to your operation or the particular IFTA report used by your jurisdiction. Enter or select any applicable dollar amounts, due dates, conditions, and report preparer info, and click Run when finished. You might receive a few informational messages which you can read and click through. Finally, the TaxTally Report Explorer appears. Click a report page in the right pane and click Open to open it in your default PDF reader. You can also click Open All to open all of the report pages, or click Print or Print All to send one or all pages directly to your printer without first viewing them on screen. It's extremely important that you review all information on the report before filing to make sure it's correct. Filing an incorrect report could lead to processing delays and penalty fees. Once verified, you can go ahead and mail in the report or transpose the information to an online IFTA submission form if one is available at your jurisdiction's website.